Hello, Cheeseheads, and welcome back to the Caller Cave. We are live, and it's a great day to be a Spurs fan. We've made some good signings, and I've got a new signing today on the Caller's Cave. Here, joining me is Seb, our Matchroom reporter extraordinaire, Seb Short. Hello, Seb. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
I'm very good, actually. I'm enjoying life very much today. I'm still on holiday, hence why I'm doing this in the middle of the day, because it wouldn't be much fun otherwise. I'm just really excited that we can get through some questions. I was looking forward to the game tonight, but allegedly it may be cancelled. Well, is likely to be cancelled. So. More on that story to come, I guess. We'll dig straight in. We've got people watching already from around the cheese room world. So welcome to you all, one and all. Leave your comment. Leave you any questions for Seb and I in the comment box, and we will get to as many as we possibly can. We've had some sent in already through our Facebook medium. And the Twitter sphere as well. So we're going to try over the next sort of 45 minutes to an hour and just get through as many questions as we can and look at some things. So the headlines, I suppose, in the Spurs world, we've moved on from Gareth Bale joining us and Reguilon at the weekend, which is very exciting. However, a news story broke that Dele may be on his way out of the club, which obviously to me is a huge shame because he's been a part of Spurs furniture for what seems like a lifetime now, but not seeing eye to eye with Mourinho. Seb, what are your thoughts on this?
It is an interesting one, isn't it? I think from what I can tell online, the views are pretty 50-50 as to whether we should sell him or keep him. Look, I think there might have been something released by the club to kind of hopefully give him a kick up the backside, because he's not the Dele Alli that we knew from 3-4 years ago. And it's been a constant struggle for him pretty much over the last 2 or 3 seasons, because injuries have played their part, obviously. But I think from a financial point of view, when he was hitting the heights, and I think he scored 20 goals in one season, was he worth 100 million then?
Yeah, but
potentially.
Well,
if you look at it now,
was he ever really worth 100 million?
Okay, so all right, let's suppose he was worth 80.
Yeah.
Now, is he worth 40? In 2 years' time, if it carries on and he's running the end of his contract down, is he worth 20? Wow. So from a financial point of view, it does make sense to look at, is Dele Alli expendable?
I suppose, is he expendable to the playing side is the big question, Seb. I mean, he was so influential, especially in the early sort of the days of Pochettino's era when we were going for the league, and you know that season we went unbeaten at home at White Hart Lane, and his goals put us in that position. And I know HG feels very firmly that he's probably our most important midfielder, and we'd be mad to let him go. Not sure I feel quite the same, if I'm being perfectly honest, but. Can we afford to lose a midfielder with that kind of talent?
It's really hard, isn't it? The thing is, as you alluded to, with the formations that we look like we are going to play with the new players that we have, you would guess that we are going to play either a 3-4-3 or some kind of fudge 3-5-2 formation.
Yeah.
And, if Bale, Kane and Son are your forward players, and you have Reguilon and Doherty as your wide support, up and down the pitch. You'd imagine that when the Celso's fit in the big games he plays, Højbjerg's been brought into play. Where does Dele Alli fit in either of those systems? That is the problem, because I think Danny Murphy actually on Match of the Day made a really good point that Dele Alli is your number 10, and actually, I didn't really realise this until he said it. A lot of teams don't play with a 10 now. If you're going to play 3 up front with 2 of them wide, you can't afford a 10. You use too many people going forward. Most people are playing a midfield 3. So Dele Alli's got to adapt his game. And the criticism last season, and I think perhaps the season before, was Dele Alli's being played out of position. That's why he's not as good as he was. Well, if he's not as good as he was because he can't play the position that you need him to, then ergo he becomes expendable.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it'll be interesting. I suppose the question is, where does he end up? I'm just reading the live feed here. The Harlow Globetrotter is watching from Austria, and apparently I'm misrepresenting his views on Dele. Well, the fundamental view is, HG, that you don't want him sold and you don't think we should be selling him. So listen, you can come on the show and discuss it with the caller if you've got an issue with it. We can add you into the chat at any point here. But I suppose the question is, Seb, if we're selling the guy, where does he go? Where does he go? By the way, I'm not an alcoholic, but who doesn't love a pint of beer Moretti in the afternoon? Hey, who doesn't love that? Freshly poured from the caller's beer tap. Yeah.
I'm trying to get some more sponsorship there, caller.
I mean, listen, if Beer Moretti want to come in and sponsor the pod, that would be amazing. We would love you to do that. But in the meantime, please do subscribe to, there it is, down there, subscribe to our pod. And subscribe to this, subscribe to our YouTube channel, get it on all mediums. So where does he go? Where does he go, Seb? What's next for him?
Hopefully not in the Premier League. Because I just don't want to see that. Although if I was being realistic, if I was thinking of a Premier League club that could make use of him, then I would say Manchester United. But
swap with Lingard.
With the money that let's hope not. I don't even want to broach that subject, to be honest. Look, Lingard played his best under Mourinho, but his best wasn't good enough for the team that we're putting together now.
Yeah.
In my view, I would imagine with the money that we would require for Ali, or the money that he would require for himself, either if it was a loan or a transfer, you're looking at the likes of PSG, Inter Milan. I did hear someone say Dortmund. That would be, for him personally, that would be a fantastic move. But I imagine that might have something to do with if Jadon Sancho moves. But yeah, there's not many options now. You know, the Sancho move is an interesting one because the climate as it is, clubs aren't being held responsible. Not responsible. Clubs aren't being bent over now. Basically.
Held to ransom.
You know, Sancho.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, held to ransom. Sancho, Dortmund have said 110 million euros for he's a good player. He's a very good player, but he's still very young. There's a lot that can go wrong. He is not that proven. He's not world class. And Manchester United, fair play to him, saying no, it's too much. It's too much. And that's the thing. But also, what it means is that players' options are very limited. Now's not the time. If you're looking for your big move, now is not the time.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Well, and certainly for the clubs, it's not the best time to sell either, is it? I mean, Professor Styles, as he's named himself, has come back on the chat and said if he went to Man United, where would he play? I think that's his smart up. You know the way HG loves to be. Oh, this is PG-13, so I better not swear. You know HG loves to be really, really smart. I can imagine him saying, "Well, where would he play, Seb? Where would he play?"
Yeah, in the 11 on the pitch. But he could easily get into that team as the 10. You know, in front of Fernandes and Pogba. 2 out wide, 1 up front. He gets in. He could get into that team. Look, it was. I'm not seriously thinking that Dele Alli is going to go to Manchester United. But the question was, where could he go? Yeah. And in the Premier League, that is probably the only option inside the Premier League.
Yeah. He's become almost bigger than most of the clubs in the Premier League, hasn't he? And that's the thing. And I suppose that's a nice position for Spurs to be in, because if we sell him to some other club, which let's make clear, I don't want him to go. And Juan Franco says Dele is going nowhere, and Mr. Starr says I agree. I don't really want him to go anywhere in the Premier League because I don't want to see him play against us, because I know he'd have a blinder basically. That is exactly what would happen, unfortunately.
But the issue is though that if he's on a downward trajectory, I can't even say that word. You know what I'm trying to say. He's on a downward spiral, and if that carries on, then a decision is going to need to be taken. And you know, we saw the Amazon documentary. He is a man-child. He has little motivation.
Well, we all are a little bit man-child, aren't we? aren't we?
Yeah, but I don't know about you, but I'm not getting paid 130 grand a week.
I wish I
you know,
was.
You need to.
Mr. Jolly's pockets don't stretch that deep yet.
Not quite. But the first conversation that Levy and Jose had was about Dele Alli, the fact he doesn't train well, and that Jose needed to help him find his motivation.
Yeah.
Well, I struggle with that. If your motivation isn't playing the best for one of the best football clubs in the world at a 60,000 seater stadium every other week, then you're struggling. And let's be honest, it is apparent he has other motivations or other interests. Now, look, don't mind other interests, but when they seem to have taken an effect over the footballing talent that we all know he has, then that becomes a bit of an issue. And like I say, I look at this now from a business, and if you're Daniel Levy, do you maximise your profit potential right now?
Absolutely. I suppose the answer to that is, due to COVID and clubs not spending and financial uncertainty, it's probably not the right time to sell him. And that's maybe why we're looking at a loan, or that's what's been mooted, a bit of a loan to see how the land lies. A couple of shout outs on the text. David O'Shaughnessy, I'm probably saying that wrong. David, thanks for tuning in. It's great to have you with us. Aaron Sasan is tuning in from India. So that is excellent. And he says, is that the caller? I'm going to put that up on the screen. Is that the caller? He looks just as I imagined he would. Well, I don't quite know what that's supposed to mean, Aaron. You'll have to elaborate on that. What, stunningly good looking and got the perfect face for radio? Is that what we're trying to say about that? I'm not quite sure. But no, great to have you with us. Thanks very much. A question from or a statement from Dutch Grass. Dele doesn't fit. Move him on. The bigger question is, when are we going to shift Cameron Carter-Vickers, Rose, Foyth, Gazaniga to raise funds to buy a striker, a centre-back, ideally, and a playmaker? If Aurier goes, who do we get? Well, that's a lot of questions. So I'll take the first. I'll take the easy bits and then leave the rest to you, Seb. I don't think Dele's going anywhere other than a loan, as we've said, and I hope not. Bigger question is when we're going to shift Cameron Carter-Vickers. He's going to go Championship, and I would say this window, either on a loan or a permanent move if I was a betting man. But it'll go down to the end because it always will. It always does with us. Rose, I just can't see him being with the club at the end of the transfer window. That's going to be, I mean, we'll look to get money for him. In reality, it's probably going to be a loan because I don't think anyone's going to want to pay. He's got 12 months left on his contract, and I don't think in reality anyone's going to pay much of a fee for him, especially after his little cameo in the All or Nothing documentary. Foyth, again, I don't know. Loan would be my preferred option. I think there's a player in there. I think he's a very good ball player, but Seb's wincing, so he can give me his take in a minute. And Gazaniga can go tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned. I do think we're going to sign a striker. We'll come on and talk about that shortly. I'm not sure about the playmaker bit. And if Aurier goes, well, we've signed Aurier's replacement, really, I think. So I don't think you're going to see another right back come in, because I think we've got cover over on the right from Tanganga. So and Foyth if he stays, and Gedson. So I don't think, and Sissoko if push comes to shove. So I don't think you're going to see a replacement, unfortunately. Seb, where do you think I'm right in all of that? Obviously, you were shaking your head at Juan Foyth.
Yeah, I don't see anything in Juan Foyth. Let's be honest, he played 8 professional games before we signed him. I think it was for Estudiantes.
He's played for Argentina. Hang on. He's played for the Argentinian first team.
Yeah.
He's not that bad a player, is he?
Oh, he's not bad. He's not. I haven't seen anything he gives the ball away. He apparently he can bring the ball out of defence. Well, every time I've seen him do that, he's overrun it. One time that resulted in a red card against Bournemouth. Now, let's be honest, we lost that game. We were so lucky to get into the top 4 that season. He could have cost us that. I think what is he now? 22, 23. He's not a kid. If he was going to do it, he would have done it, and he hasn't. And and he's had chances, and I've just never ever been impressed. So yeah, if we could get our money back for him, I think it was £8 million we paid for him. £8 million for a player that had played 8 professional games. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Well, in that climate, it might not be. Was he from the same village as Pochettino, by any chance? As well as Gazzaniga, you know.
Probably, yeah.
The only football player in the village.
But yeah, if we get our money back for him, he can go. Gazzaniga, yeah, look, we don't need 3 keepers. I don't know if Brandon Austin's still at the club or whether he's gone on loan, but he's certainly good enough for the third spot. So if we can get 10 million or something for Gazzaniga, get him gone. Carter Vickers, I did hear that he was going on his way to Luton, and then I think I'm right in saying they've had a fantastic start, and that, funnily enough, has kind of put the kibosh on it. Okay. But I don't know if that's going to be the case going forward. That was on a loan.
Okay, well that makes sense. I mean, Cameron Carter Vickers has had more loans than the Callers had beer, and that's a lot of beer. So you know, when do we get rid of him? When do we sack him off? That's the only question with him, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks for your views on that, Seb. I hope that covers that question off nicely. My question is, are we going to get to see some football tonight? Because I know we were chatting earlier, pre-show, that the game was likely to go ahead because you felt that we'd seen in the press that ultimately they couldn't afford to lose the money Leyton Orient. But from what I'm seeing on social media and some media outlets right now, is that it's a no-go and they're not going to be able to field a team and Spurs will get a bye. What are your thoughts?
Well, from what I've read, all the authorities are trying to get the game off, and it's Leyton Orient who are begging the game to go ahead, field a youth team, do whatever they can do, simply because I think they stand to lose £100,000 if it's not screened. Look, this is a horrible situation, an absolutely horrible situation. It's not good for Leyton Orient having players, going into their league game. It's not been great for the fact that there's no fans and everything else. They need the money. I read that we paid for their COVID tests. If we hadn't have done that, then I think we'd be looking at the Premier League stopping if this game had gone ahead and then our players had got it and so on and so forth. The situation's horrible, and unfortunately, my fear is that money talks. And I would imagine, knowing what I do about TV production, that the cameras from Sky have been there since yesterday. They would have all been set up, ready. That costs money. Sky have still been saying the game's going up.
They're advertising it now. I mean, I've got in the Caller's Cave we have all mod cons. So if I can turn this around, and it is difficult, you can probably see we've got the old Sky Sports on the big screen there, and they're reporting, and it is a big screen. Yep, thanks very much. And they are reporting that bigger than the Caller's ego, even. They're reporting that the game's going ahead on there currently. So I think we're still waiting an update from the FA as to whether or from the clubs as to what the outcome is. That they're just at the moment they're just saying that a number of their players have they'll make an announcement shortly about tonight's EFL Cup tie. So I mean it's that apparently the EFL are awaiting outcome of talks with club doctors and Public Health England to decide if the game goes ahead. So yeah,
it's money. Money. People who listen to our podcast know my thoughts on the disgusting amounts of money in football and how it dictates everything, absolutely everything. And money talks. And Leyton Orient can't afford to lose that money. They would do everything they can. They've got, I know he doesn't own a club anymore, but they've got influence from the Hearns. The Hearns have influence into Sky, etc., etc., etc.
Well, Eddie Hearn.
Both of them.
Bless him.
They used to. Barry Hearn used to own Leyton Orient.
Yeah, I remember.
He still has big interest in that football club, and has big interest in Premier League darts, boxing, matchroom entertainment, everything to do with Sky. That game, I tell you, I would be very surprised if that game gets cancelled. It should be cancelled, and it should be cancelled. We can't postpone it. There's no room for it.
Yeah,
but This is the other argument, because if Leyton Orient are saying, okay, we'll postpone it, we'll play it another time, and Spurs are saying, well, we've got no room, then whose fault does it become?
Well, exactly.
Who gets penalised?
Yeah.
So it's a hard one.
Cheers, Seb. I'll drink to that. I'm getting low already. I think pint 2 might be on the way.
Got me vodka. Not really vodka.
Body and orange, just orange.
I wish it was.
See, we've both been suffering from bad chests and colds, and Seb has a more medicinal approach than me to solving it by the looks of it. Getting your vitamin C, where I'll just get drunk so I don't feel the pain. A few more questions or comments to shout out. Xzone DB4, great username. Delhi needs to reinvent his position, whether he stays or goes. Where can he play if not a number 10? Good question, because he doesn't really fit as a midfielder, does he?
But we had that. We mentioned that, last season. I think a season before it was. It's not fair on Delhi. Delhi's had to change his position.
Yeah.
He's not playing where he wants to play. He's not linking up with Harry Kane. That's why he hasn't scored as many goals. That's why he hasn't got as many assists.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't, if he doesn't fit the system that the 10 other players do fit, then don't play him.
Yeah.
Because we have got players now with a 3-4-3 or a 4-3-3 or a fudge of 3-5-2. There's all these things where I can't see Delhi in any of those starting 11s.
No, I can't either. I can't. It brings us on to an interesting question. Actually, we put out questions on Facebook. Keith J Parker on Facebook asked apparently Paul Robinson on Sky picked the legend that is Paul Robinson, Tottenham legend. He is indeed. Picked his best 11. All right, get ready for this. I haven't got the full team in front of me, so apologies for that. But the key points that he wanted to call out were that Winks and Sissoko were chosen over Lo Celso and Ndombele. Do you agree? Sam?
Do we need to have that conversation?
I mean, yeah. No, I don't agree, Keith. I think Paul Robinson. He's off his head, quite frankly, if he thinks that either Sissoko or Winks should be ahead of Lo Celso and Ndombele, personally. And I'm guessing you're saying the same.
Yeah. I mean, look, I actually don't mind Sissoko. I have more of a problem with Harry Winks. We know what we get from Sissoko. He will win you the ball. He will bring the ball forward, which is what we all want to see.
And then he'll kick it out of play.
Yeah, he's not great. He's not a striker, but in terms of transitional play, he's not bad. He's 6 or 7 out of 10 most weeks, right, for me. Harry Winks.
Don't start me on Harry Winks. Don't start me on Harry Winks. Like the boy's a mess.
My match review last week from the Southampton game, when the Doherty handball happened, I made the comment that at least we got to check through the replay that Harry Winks was still on the pitch. Because even though we're winning 5-2, he offered nothing. Absolutely nothing. He didn't offer anything defensively. He's not a defensive midfielder. He never has been. Whoever wants to play him in the 4, in the pivot, in the quarterback role, whatever, however you want to dress it up, it doesn't work. And there are better options to do it if you want to play that way.
Yeah.
And secondly, he doesn't offer anything going forward. There's no forward passes, there's no assists, there's no goals, there's no long range shots, there's no set pieces. Absolutely nothing. Should be nowhere near the first team.
Should be nowhere near the Spurs squad. Get him out. Get rid of him. Send him to Wimbledon. Send him to Milton Keynes. That's the worst place in England, isn't it? Send him there. And if anyone's watching from Milton Keynes, I apologise. It's a concrete jungle.
People say, but he's got England caps. Now, look, I like Ryan Mason. He's a lovely guy. Ryan Mason has an England cap. Yep. If you play for Spurs and you string 10 games together during the generally from September to November when the internationals are, you'll get a cap for England.
I mean, they've looked at me before.
What did they say?
Well, I can't publish those words on the. Moves slowly, gets worse as the game goes on, and that was after the 5th minute, I think. Good. Let's have a look at some more comments. Juan Franco says, with Bale engaging 3 or 4 players, even I could fit in. Imagine Delhi. Professor Styles says maybe Diego Dalot as a right back at Man United don't want him, and Mourinho signed him up at Man United. Yeah, true. Maybe we could buy Lingard while we're at it. What do you think of the Lingard rumours then, Seb? I mean, I'm a bit mixed about this. So the reactions from the general Cheese Room people has been the Cheese Room collective writers and broadcasters has been muted, would be a generous way of putting it. I actually don't think he's that bad a player, if I'm really honest. And he did have a couple of good seasons at United and played for England in the team that got to the semi-finals of the European World Cup even. The World Cup or the Euros? World Cup. Must have been the World Cup. So, he's not that bad a player, is he?
No better than anything that we've got. That's the thing.
But don't you need a squad? Don't you need a squad? You don't just need 11. I mean, he might not fit straight into the 11, but is he better than Harry Winks?
We've got a squad.
Is he better than Winks?
He's Harry Winks level.
Do you think so? Because I think he's above Harry Winks, and I think he's above Sissoko. So I think if you ship one of those out and brought him in, he'd improve the squad. I'm not saying he should play every game.
He doesn't play that role though, does he? He's more of a 10. The 10 that we discussed that our team's probably not going to play.
Well, there you go. Is he more of a box-to-box midfielder than Dele?
No.
Do you not think so?
You don't see him on the edge of his own penalty area making a last-ditch tackle, do you? Not at all. Should go nowhere near him. We don't need him. It'd be an absolute waste of money.
Dalot at right back. Do you think Dalot? Do you think there could be something in that? Do you want to talk about him?
Look, if Leicester City come in for Lingard, I could understand it, right? Ooh. If West Ham went in for Lingard, I could understand it. That's the level. He's not our level.
Well, you're saying West Ham and Leicester are on the same level, Seb. I'm sorry, I've got to take you to task on that. There's a difference of about 15 league positions involved for starters.
Do I dislike them both? Yes. Therefore, they're on the same level.
The West Ham fans rock up in a caravan. Well, the Walkers fans' only crime is to eat lots of crisps. Let's be honest. Jedson is not a right back. This is also on the chat. Yeah, agree. One last one. I'm not reading any more out from you, Mr. Styles. But he's put. I'll add it to the broadcast. Do you guys remember 2016, 2017 at all? Yes, and he was good. Yes. The problem is with Dele, and I know what you're saying. He was a good player then. He hasn't moved forward. He hasn't progressed at all. In fact, he's regressed.
He's gone backwards.
Exactly. And that's
what we talked about at the start of the show, HG. Please try and listen.
And that's the issue.
2016-17, he was worth 80 million. Now he might be worth 40 million. In a year's time, he might be worth 10 million. So, are you...
Again.
What? Try and listen.
Okay, so good. Right, let's have a look at some more questions we've had. I'm sure HG will have lots to say about this when I pick up a conversation with him. So, Daniel Martin, can you please do these at the weekends? Laugh out loud. Yes, well, we can. In fact, we were going to do a live broadcast, or I was going to do a live broadcast tonight. A watch along live or watching the game, but I mean, if the game's off, then we won't do it. If the game's on, we absolutely will do it.
Can't we do a fake one? Can't we pretend
to
watch it?
I'll tell you what I did think we should do. I think we should get the old FIFA on the big screen and have a bit of a game of FIFA on the go. I think that would be quite interesting. The Cheese Room FIFA League. It'd be quite good. Dave Cox says Lingers should stay well away from our club. I agree, Dave. Don't let him linger. And here's the next question. The government today have announced Boris Johnson has announced with flailing hands that football matches, in terms of returning fans, will be put back. So we're gonna pause it. Go to the game. Don't go to the game. Leave home. Don't leave home. Claim benefit, don't claim benefit. We're going to give £500 to stay at home. And all football matches are now, whereas the fans were supposed to be starting to return in October, now are no longer returning. So When are we going to see a game, Seb? I miss my trips to White Hart Lane. I mean, I don't want to die of coronavirus. That's true, but I do miss, the game. And when do you think this is going to be? When are we going to get fans back in stadiums? And more to the point, the clubs are going to miss massive revenue, aren't they? Teams like Leyton Orient, especially if we're getting coronavirus outbreaks in the lower leagues and games get cancelled. When are we going to get normality back? I know that's a big question, but what's your view?
Well, first of all, I didn't know Mr. Bean was leading the country in the coronavirus response. But secondly, I don't think it'll be this season. I really don't. The speech that Johnson gave today, he said 6 months. I think that's pretty spot on. Probably, if anything, a conservative estimate in more ways than one. And I would say that, it gets to March, April, May, the season's done. There's not a lot of point, is there? You might as well. I don't think it'll be this season. I really don't. You might see like these test events, 1,000, maybe 10% of the stadium, something like that. I can't see it. Look, we're going through a tough time at the moment, and I think we all knew this. We had a couple of months, maybe in the middle, end of June, July, where things got a little bit easier. But we're going into flu season and all the other things that come with it. We've both not been well over the last few weeks. We both had tests. Thankfully, it wasn't COVID. But there's so much going about, and it's only going to get a bit tougher, I'm afraid, over the next couple of months. It's none of us like it, but please, from my point of view, do what the government say. Stay at home if you've got symptoms.
Stay at home. Do you think they're going to do eat out to help out again at the end of it?
I don't think they will.
It is slightly ironic, isn't it? They've been spending all this money going, eat out, enjoy a meal, go out, go back to work, go to the office, do all the normal things, and then in the next breath, they're literally like, don't go out, don't eat out, stay at home. Oh, it's just so contradictory, isn't it? I'm just so fed up of it.
People's mental health is as important as the virus, unfortunately. And I think the whole point of maybe end of June, July into August was go out, try and enjoy the summer, get some normality back, and we'll turn it round quickly when we need to. And that's what you've got to do. And you've got to listen. Everyone listened to the Eat Out to Help Out and Let's Go to the Pub and everything. Well, now listen to what they're saying now, because otherwise it is going to get worse. But we're not here to discuss coronavirus.
I'm just shouting out Alexander Owers, who said solid 8 out of 10 for that Boris impression, caller, which thank you, Alexander. I'll keep working on it. Another question: which formation would suit Spurs this season? I'd like to get your take on this. I've talked about this with the Harlow Globetrotter. 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 or 3-4-3 with incoming signings. With love from India. Thank you very much.
3-4-3 for me.
Yeah.
With potentially one more signing, which I would have on the left side of defence. So my ideal at the moment with the playing staff that we've got now would be obviously Lloris in goal, a back three of Toby, Dyer and Davis, and then a midfield four of Doherty, Højbjerg, Lo Celso and Reguilon, and then three up front of Son, Kane and Bale. Obviously the Ndombele factor comes into that, and I would say when you're going to Liverpool away, that one of Son, Kane and Bale, likely Bale, drops out and Ndombele comes in to shore up that midfield. That's what I'd like to see.
I'm not sure how much shoring up Ndombele would give you in the midfield, because for all his wonderful spinning turns, if he loses that ball, it's so high risk, it's untrue. So I'm sure it's probably going to be the Harry Winks option, sadly, that goes into the midfield for those games. But
based on what we saw on Sunday, there's the option of playing Harry Kane in midfield.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he's what a player he is. He can just play anywhere on the pitch. So yeah, I mean, me personally, I would like to see three at the back, three at the back, and then 3-4-3, probably in the way you've described it. Really, I think you can flip a coin and put the Celso or Ndebele in there, but you've got to have options. And the front three picks itself. Lucas Moura's going to not be able to get a game. Bergwijn's going to be an impact sub this season. But the good news is, if we progress in all the competitions, we should see plenty of football. They should see plenty of football because there is plenty to go around. So yeah, that is hopefully what we'll get. Another question from a summertime. Say again, Seb. I've lost you. Come back, Seb. If everyone's still watching me, what I'd like to say is Seb lives in a place called Stoke-on-Trent. Now, Stoke is what I would call northern. The caller has this reputation for being northern, but Seb is actually the northernmost. And as you can see, his internet is a little bit dodgy. Seb, are you back?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. How's the dodgy northern internet? Is it not working very well?
I'd say I'd need to go and reattach the line outside that holds the two cans together. Something happened there. I'll be honest, I've sat here all day and not had any work to do at all. And then literally, as you started inciting your wisdom to everyone, my phone started beeping and buzzing. So I think that might have had something to do with it. But yeah, I didn't get to hear your thoughts on the starting 11, but I'm sure you agree with me.
Basically that I want to see three at the back. I want to see three at the back, and I would like to play with wing backs because I think that's why we've signed Reguilon and Doherty, because they are going to get up and down those flanks and provide the width. Now, whether they do that in a 4 or 3 at the back is, that's interchangeable really, because you can bulk up the midfield. But go on.
I also think, look, we've seen Jose seems to work very hard on his tactics and everything else. But you got that front three and Lo Celso, as he did in the second half on Sunday, feeding the ball forward. Look, let's not concentrate on defence. Let's just score more than them. That's what. I know that sounds ridiculous, but
it's how football matches are won, Sam. It's how football matches are won. It's how football matches are won. And realistically, I think the players and the squad we've assembled, what we look like is solid defensively and just let the world-class attack. And you can't argue that Kane, Son and Bale is as good as any forward three on the planet. I mean, I can't think of a better forward three in world football, even with Messi in, because Messi is, let's face it, getting on a little bit. Although still probably the best player on the planet, it's fair to say. But the combination of those three, you've got power, you've got pace, you've got accuracy, free kicks. God, we've got a free kick taken back finally. I can't wait to see Bale stand over a free kick and he's doing his Ronaldo impression and all the rest of it again. It's I just think that this season is going to be great once we're up and running, and it just makes me really sad that we can't get into the stadium to see these players in the flesh, because I think we're going to have a good season. And I think, yes, it's been quite mundane football so far, but the second half really came alive, didn't it, Seb, against Southampton? And I think we can really kick on from there. I think that would have given them a lot of confidence.
Look, we all want to hear the tactical work that's going into the game and stuff like that, but it's common sense. After the game on Sunday, you get those players in the dressing room and you say, get that ball forward. Yeah. That's why Harry Winks is such a pain in the arse, because
talk for 2 minutes. Talk for 2 minutes. I'm just going to get a beer.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I've been left to my own devices. That's never a good idea. But yeah, get that ball forward. Son, Lo Celso, Harry Kane are going to do far more damage than Eric Dyer, passing the ball back to Eric Dyer, or a 30-yard back pass to Lloris. Absolutely insane. So let's get that ball forward to Bale. Let's get that ball forward to Son, Harry Kane, and we know we'll score a lot of goals. That wasn't 2 minutes. Thank God for that.
Look. I only got half a pint. I thought it's the middle of the afternoon. I've got to regulate my sort of alcoholic intake. We've got a bar area over here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's we've got a fully stocked bar just over there with beer on tap, and Moretti is the poison of choice today. You see, so I've gone and reloaded. I'm not loaded, just for the record, as in drunk. But I do enjoy a tipple now and again, don't we all? No, we don't all, but we won't go into that. So, in terms of signings, well, yes, I was just about to move on to signings. So, according to a recent report of a Dutch news outlet, Tubantia, who obviously that rolls off the tongue, Tottenham have still got a serious interest in Wolfsburg striker Wout. Go on, I'm going to say his name and you're going to pronounce it properly. Weghorst? Weghorst, of course it is. See, I knew you'd know that. It's just like having HG here. And we look like we can complete a deal, only he'd have done it like, God, Owen, don't you know that's Weghorst? Caller, you're an idiot. So, what do we think? Is he someone we want? Apparently, he scored. Let's go through the stats. So he scored 20 goals last season. Check. Although, and in the Bundesliga as well, which isn't a bad division. And he's 6'5". So does he suit Joe says lump it forward? Thanks very much. We'll have some of that.
Yeah, I can see this one. I can, it makes a lot of sense. I've seen him a couple of times. Obviously, I think most of us watched the German leagues when lockdown started because it was the only thing going on.
No, it didn't bother.
I forgot you don't do other leagues, do you?
I don't generally do other leagues. I'm a one-man club. What's it Bill Nick said? One club for my lifetime or whatever. That's me. I'm just, that's my excuse, my cop-out, and I'm sticking to it.
I've always thought you were a cross between Bill Nicholson and Ledley King.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that, can't you? I've got lovely shirts on the wall over there, actually. The King.
Oh, he's rubbing off on you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Weghorst, it makes a lot of sense. Probably the person that I'd like to see in that role, because I think you know what you're getting, is Diego Costa. But that seems to have gone quiet. Although, obviously, Suarez is meant to be on his way to Atletico, so whether that means Costa can go, I don't know. But yeah, I'd like someone in that position, and I'd like the Llorente option of a big man, get it up to him, let the others play off him.
Yeah, okay. Another question. So why do you guys think Højbjerg is playing higher than Winks? Clearly, Spurs signed him as a central defensive midfielder. Now, I can see that. And I've not really been impressed by Højbjerg so far, but Rome wasn't built in a day in its early days, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But clearly, he is supposed to be a defensive midfielder, isn't he? But he doesn't appear to be one.
Apart from the second half on Sunday, where he was much further back, sat in front of the front four. And if you want me to be honest, and you're probably going to get on my back for this, it's not his fault, it's Harry Winks' fault. Harry Winks is playing too far back because Harry Winks doesn't know where he's meant to be. And this is the big problem. Harry Winks has only played well in a Tottenham shirt next to Moussa Dembele, when he could basically get away with a few things because Dembele would clean it up for him. Højbjerg needs to sit deeper, and Harry Winks should be further forward. But Harry Winks looks like a scared boy on the pitch to me, and I think it affects Højbjerg's game. And on Sunday in the second half, Højbjerg definitely had the instruction to sit further back, and that's when we looked our best. And he mopped a lot up. So
he does look double-hard as well, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, takes no prisoners.
No, you wouldn't mess with him.
Not at all.
See him in a dark alley and run for the hills, and like this.
Oh, I like him.
Guy with a soft Danish accent kicking the.
He's had 2 games. And I'd say he's had a good 45 minutes. So way too soon to judge, and we need to see him played in his proper position in front of the back four.
Yeah.
Or 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question for me: if selling Dele enables us to go in for a top centre back like Ruben Dias, who is allegedly we've been linked with, or oh god, I can't even say that. Skriniar. Yeah, thanks. Then I think we have to do it. Seb?
Yes. This is my point. So let's suppose we don't get that top centre back this season, and we keep Dele, and Dele is your 6 out of 10, sometimes a bit worse than he has been over the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Then I think it's a regret. If you could caller, I'll give you the question.
Go on then.
How much would you sell Dele for?
No less than 50 million.
See, I don't think you get that.
No, I don't think you would. I don't think you would get that in the current climate. I think 6 months ago you would have got that.
I think you look at it, and whoever's made this point, I didn't see myself. It's a really valid question, because if you can sell Dele and buy a player who in a year or 2 years is going to be worth more than Dele will be, then that makes great sense. And if you can buy a player like Ruben Dias, who is it looks the real deal to me. I've seen him a few times. I've obviously done the YouTube things and stuff like that. Yeah, he looks good. Skriniar, I'm not as sure. He's a unit. And again, a bit like Højbjerg, doesn't take any prisoners.
We love units. Jose loves a unit.
He does. For me, if you can sell Dele and buy one of them with a bit and come out with a bit of change, yeah, it's hard not to see the sense in that.
Because you improve the overall squad, that's the key thing, isn't it? And
yes.
I think we've gone from looking long term to a little bit more short term. To be honest, I think Levy, much as though he's maligned by fans, people really, really want him to win a trophy, and I think Levy is going for that now, and you can see the difference in the signings he's making. So is it not possible that we could sell other squad players to pay for Dias or Skriniar?
There's potential, like you say,
Dele go, because he's like a prized crown jewel, isn't he? I suppose, or he has been.
Let's be honest, the people who are moving at the moment in the transfer market in general are those with 1 year left on their deal. There's not a lot more going on, so that's the problem. And because Levy is sensible, and before this happened, a lot of our players are tied to long-term deals.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I can't see the point in Lucas Moura much more. I would like to move him out.
What is the point of Lucas Moura? What is the point of Lucas Moura? No, I agree.
So I'd move him out ahead of Lamela. Obviously, he's worth more money in the market than Lamela. I imagine you wouldn't get more than 10, 15 million for Lamela. You might get double that for Lucas Moura. That money could be put to better use elsewhere. Lucas doesn't get in my starting 11, as we've discussed. Impact sub, but then you've got Bergwijn, you've got Lamela, you've got Gedson, who can all come on. You've got Jack Clark, you've got Sessegnon. You've got a lot of people who could fulfil the role that Moura does. And I'm sorry, stats-wise, and you say stats lie and everything, no assists, very few goals, running into brick walls. So that would be someone that I would be looking to move in on. Apart from
Scored
that,
a hat-trick in the Champions League final.
Yes, he did. I'll never forget my half-time text to my friends at that point, which was, get him off. He is useless. Get him off.
So basically, we shouldn't listen to you at all then, really?
No, not at all. I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. Where am I? Who do I support?
Oh, no, love it. Let's have a look what else we've got in the comments box today. 10 out of 10 for the Man Cave Caller. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Professor Starr says, sell Lucas and Lamela and buy Dias. Easy. I think the trouble is trying to find someone that would buy Lucas and Lamela for that kind of money. 74 Rose says, we've been waiting 7 years to find a replacement for Bale. So yes, we've been waiting for 7 years, and we've signed Bale. That's good, isn't it?
Well, if you go on the cheeseroom.co.uk website, there's quite a few articles on there. One of which is by me about the return of Gareth Bale. Which starts the irony of Daniel Levy making 39 signings to replace Gareth Bale before eventually replacing him with Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
So yeah, we haven't had anyone like him, and it's because
there isn't many who is like him though in world football. How many players are like Bale? None really.
Well, we tried to replace him with punts, Ng and Kudu, all. We could go on and on. Obviously, Bergwijn, Moura, those type of players, but they were all not risks, but we'll spend 20 million, we'll spend 25 million. Who knows? In 5 years' time, they'll be
Might
world
work
class.
out.
And we can
Yeah.
So that's
But that's
we haven't actually gone
that's
out and bought world
that's
class.
fairly typical, though, isn't it? I mean, in fairness, Liverpool have got a lot of things right in recent years, signing, Mo Salah and co. But you wouldn't have thought when they signed Salah that he was going to turn into that player, would you? So I think,
No.
I suppose my point is, to a degree, everyone's a bit of a pump when you're spending 20, 30, 40 mil. What did they sign Salah for? Was he like 30 mil?
29 million, I think.
29 mil, that's a pump. That's pump money. It just so happens that he's turned out to be world class, and that's the thing. It is always it's really down to how good your recruitment department is, and ours hasn't been very good. I think that's the fundamental. I don't think we've not spent money. We've not spent money on big Galacticos, absolutely, but we've not spent money. Obviously, we did for a couple of years, but where we've spent it, it hasn't been best spent, and that's fundamentally the issue.
Well, it's hard to sign those type of players when the guy in charge of signing them says that he hates his job. That's the
Is that Steve Hitchin?
Steve Hitchin, yeah. I bloody hate January. Get on with it, man. What are you doing?
I hate January. You think yourself lucky, mate. Try working in a supermarket. Jesus.
I'll tell you.
Go sweep the streets for a living. You find you hate your job then, won't you, you bloody idiot? Yeah.
Well, because of him, most Spurs fans hate January as well.
Yeah, that's very true. That's a good point.
Complete and utter waste of time.
There's another report I've seen. So apparently we're back looking at Willian Jose, or Jose, I'm not sure how you say it. You aware of this guy? He's real Sociedad striker.
Plays in Spain. I think he's not young though. I think he's about 28. Is he 27, 28?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't seem to be an issue anymore.
Yeah, true. Look, I don't know too much about him. I do know that I like Weghorst, so you'd have to go some. I don't know now. I've seen his stats, Willian Jose, and they're not bad. But it could be another Lucas Perez type for Arsenal player. Nothing. I don't think he's anything special.
Yeah.
I like the Weghorst option.
Well, Weghorst's goal record in Germany is one goal every 2 games. So enough said. I mean,
it's what you can do with a big man with pace around you. Get it up to the total goal.
Are we going back to Peter Crouch, Aaron Lennon, and Gareth Bale? Is that what it is?
Why not?
Well,
it's not like it didn't work.
Because we scraped in at 4th, I think. That's didn't win anything, yeah. But yeah, no, I hear you. I've got HG's got a little gremlin in my ear. He's feeding me information during this, and he's telling me the game tonight is definitely off.
Right.
They haven't decided if it's postponed or cancelled yet. So,
okay.
I mean, that's a shame because our live watch along goes out the window, and I wanted to watch Spurs again. But probably the right decision all round, really, for Leyton Orient and that. I can't see we're going to rearrange that game. It's got to be a bye, surely, because we just haven't got time, have we? Our fixture window is so tightly packed. Oh God, does that mean we're going to do a watch along on Thursday night, watching Spurs in where we're playing Moldova or somewhere?
Macedonia, isn't it? I think
near close.
Is it on telly anywhere? Does anyone know if that's even on telly?
Yeah, it is. It is. Wait till you hear it. Premier Sports have got exclusive coverage of the Europa League qualifiers. You have to sign up for their service. It's £11 from $99 for a month, and then you can cancel. They also, I think they have some Spanish football, some Scottish. They might have a Scottish Cup or something on. It's bizarre. And I mean, I tried to watch it on a dodgy stream, the last European game, and it cut out, and it was rubbish. But apparently the coverage wasn't much better. Apparently that cut out too. It was just the fact that it was in the middle of Bulgaria, wasn't it? In the middle of, was it Bulgaria, Romania?
Bulgaria,
One or the other. Same ballpark, isn't it? I hope we got no viewers. I hope I offended them. I apologise if I. But yeah, Eastern Europe, bit Soviet, over that way, basically. And this game is in.
Mate, you're so stuck in the 1980s. You are.
I am not. All right. How many trips have you made to Bulgaria?
Bit Soviet, bit communist.
Listen, a leopard don't change its spots, does it? No, I'm sure that. Look, I've got loads of time for the Bulgarians, but their TV broadcasting skills leave a bit to be desired. It's fair to say.
Is this where you're going to tell me you've got lots of Romanian friends?
I've got lots of Romanian friends. I've got loads. Actually, one of my managers. I worked with someone who was Romanian once. He was a top bloke, top bloke.
Huh? If he was Romanian once, what is he now?
Well, he's got a British passport now.
Been
here a long time. Yeah, absolutely. He was a top bloke. He'd worked so hard as well. Honestly, really good guy. So another question: do you guys think Spurs need a creative player? Most top teams have one. City have got De Bruyne. United have got Pogba and Bruno. Arsenal have got that guy on loan from Real Madrid's Celibos or whatever his name is. And Chelsea have got Ziyech. Not convinced he's a creative, actually, Ziyech, but there you go. Lo Celso seems to be more of a runner than a creative player. I know Father Nick nicknames him Roadrunner. What's your view? Do we need another creative? Have we ever truly replaced Eriksen?
No, but we've gone in a different direction. You know, Eriksen's
cracking player. Lump the ball up, yeah?
Say again?
Lump the ball forward, yeah?
Yeah. But we've gone in a different direction now. We can't. The system that Mourinho plays doesn't accommodate anyone who doesn't offer an all-round game. So defensive, running, absolutely everything. And Eriksen. We've gone in a different direction. I can't see where we fit one in. If you're going to play Son, Kane, and Bale, where on earth do you play one? Lo Celso is a little bit of everything. So for me, he's that player as well as offering other qualities as well.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it, I think, there, Seb. That's 56 minutes of Tottenham chat. Obviously, really disappointed that we're not going to get to see a game potentially tonight. However, it's been a pleasure to have some of your time this afternoon and discuss all the goings on from around the Spurs universe. So hopefully we'll come back to Caller's Cave soon. It'd be great if you could come down and we could have a little bit of a live.
That'd be amazing.
Be awesome. We could watch the game, do a live chat along. That'd be. We should plan that in. Actually, we should do that. I did here to sort of near Stoke-on-Trent, Alton Towers, hour and 15 minutes. So
that's not bad.
It's not bad at all. It's
going to be a lot less in your Tesla, mate.
Comes Monday, yeah. So you might not hear from me. On Monday very much at all. I'll be out playing in my Tesla. So thanks very much for watching, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks very much. Please make sure you subscribe to our podcast down here. That helps us loads. So click that button, subscribe to our podcast, and please do remember to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Appreciate your support, and come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.
Cheers.